Hello, welcome back to the channel. I had an email the other day, only this morning actually. This is the email. Hello, Richard. We are a group in North Wilts trying to stop an extreme solar development on good farmland. The companies involved are Green Island and Macquarie. The site will threaten the Roman Fossway near Shurston, as well as being an environmental disaster for 2,000 acres, with a proposed tunnel for cables to go from the solar area down to Melksham. We're all doing we can to fight this abuse of our countryside. Can you promote the petition, please? We've less than 2 weeks left, and we want to make a massive showing on the petition. Well, I'm happy to help where I can. This is a bugbear of mine. The idea that solar panels are a useful and helpful thing. The government, as we know, are trying to push us all into one type of energy, and that is electricity. They think it's a great idea that we should get rid of the diesel and petrol and other forms of energy because of the man-made global warming, which, by the way, is a myth. It's a complete concoction dreamt up by the Club of Rome some years ago, but it's been purported everywhere. But slowly people are beginning to question it. Is it sensible? Is it actually happening? Is it true? And is it necessary to take all alternative types of energy off the table so that we're left with one, which a tyrannical government, should they wish, could turn the electricity off, or indeed just start charging higher prices for it? We're already paying huge amounts of money for all of this anyway, and yet in our taxes we've paid so much towards the infrastructure, and maybe we've already paid for it anyway. So why are we paying for it? Plus the fact that you've got these brokers who are taking the money from you when you pay your electricity, and they're cunningly double dipping because they don't actually provide you with an invoice, a VAT invoice. They just provide you, if you don't do the direct debit, you'll get a bit of paper that has a gyro and a thing, a barcode on it. And if you sign that, you've already created a securitized financial instrument that they can then recover the money from the Sestica V Trust, your trust fund, and then you're going to put a check with it, or you're going to put a payment with it, so they've double dipped. But anyway, never mind all that. They still think it's a good idea to put in the countryside, on wonderful farmland, things like these solar panels or these dreadful wind farms. Turns out the wind farms need either electricity or diesel to get them going. They can't go at certain speeds, and it's even dubious that they really are connected to any of the national grid, where all the cables, for example. But anyway, let's not get into that. We also have a problem with the skies, do we not? We know that the government are all into the great dimming of the sky. They have it on their website, that they, with their geoengineering, their climate engineering, and their chemtrails, which are going everywhere. Yesterday was a great sunny day. I was out digging a hole for some pigs, and I noticed in the sky some very unusual sprayings. Well, guess what? Today, blanket of white sky. Now, if they're going to be putting a blanket of white sky, which we've seen since pretty much last year's winter, all the way around with a few handfuls of sunshiny days, if they're going to put that up in the sky, which is totally illegal and totally unlawful, if they're going to keep doing that, what is the point of building solar panel farms? Because there's no sun to come down onto the solar panels to generate the electricity that they think that we are all going to need. This is surely an oxymoron. If you block the sun in the sky, you cannot get the electricity onto the solar panels. Never mind the fact that the solar panels in and of themselves are being put onto prime farmland, which ought to be being growing there for growing food to help us survive, especially if you're dimming the sky, no sunlight is coming down, where we can't even grow food. We need or the crops are greatly reduced, the yields are lowered, then we need more farmland, not less. So there's no joined up thinking whatsoever from the government. Quite why people even vote or take part or listen to a government or even let them have that power is beyond me. After all, a tyrant, a dictator without followers is just a clown. If the government didn't have followers, if we withdrew the power, seeing as we the people are the ones that put them there, then we the people ought really to be able to say, sorry, you no longer have a mandate because you are screwing up the country with your 5G towers, with your geoengineering in the sky, with your insistence to have one type of energy, with your continual nonsense and fraudulent activities of being a corporation and a company, your bias within the court system, which is yet another company with the private bar guild. All of this, we should, of course, be withdrawing our mandate to give them power and set up our own government, one that is actually run by the people, for the people, not being run by a company. So anyway, that said, there is this petition to stop this huge amount of space. Now, 2,000 acres is large. I don't know if any of you have been watching things like Clarkson's Farm. Clarkson's Farm has 1,000 acres, and you'll often see drone shots in the program showing you how spacious that is. Well, double that for this massive thing. We'll have a look at that, but just let's have a look and see what these sort of solar panels are. And on the farmland, you'll see, look, rows and rows and rows and rows. This is one off the A34 near Winchester, and it just goes on and on. But this is a tiny site compared to the 2,000. There's the A34, you can see that. We pass this quite a lot. That's just in one field. But if you imagine this whole area here, 2,000 acres, is a massive development. We'll have a look at the stop the solar panel thing in a second, but first I just want to remind people that there's an event going on, AV14, Riding the Wave. You could come along if you so wish, have an alternative view. I'm doing some talking. It's at the Leonard Hotel in Milton Keynes on Sunday, the 26th of May. If you're in there, lots of interesting speakers with an alternative view than the mainstream view on all sorts of stuff. I'll leave the link in the description and you can check it out. You can stay over at the conference hotel should you wish. Number of the speakers there. You only get half of me on this particular one. Plenty of the other speakers there. Gary Fraun, who I've had on the show, talking about all sorts of bits and bobs that are coming up. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick promotion to that. So this is what the lady who sent me the Stop Lime Down Industrial Solar Complex is about. So these are the 2,000 acres that are going to be covered in these solar panels. And it says here, the proposed Lime Down Solar Park stretches over nearly 3 square miles of productive farmland and natural open fields. Over 2,000 acres in beautiful and biodiverse countryside in North Wiltshire. That's equivalent to 1,250 football pitches. So, as I say, not a small amount. The solar park could be one of the largest in the country. And in a county that has already exceeded the council's carbon natural target for 2030, Wiltshire already has 8 out of 10 of the largest solar parks in England. This is not an anti-solar campaign, although I would say I am anti-solar. Thanks very much. We believe that large industrial farms should be located on former industrial sites or next to motorways, not on productive farmland. But they do say here, this is what does the people doing the thing. Let's have a look at that. So this is them, and notice how I've not really put this web page clearly on the thing. There we are. Let's reduce that a bit. Notice how they love to put the pictures here. You see the subtlety of all this beautiful long grass and these buttercups and diversity here. And then right at the edge, you've got the solar panel. That's not what it's going to look like. This is what it'll look like. That, row upon row, not that very nice thing. Anyway, they go on and say it's at the early stage, it's not yet finalised the design, blah, 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 and you can go and read that. But basically, the land will be covered with these panels. It won't look like this at all. You can download the documents and what have you. So here is the petition, if you wish to take part and sign it and send it off. Introduction, new restrictions on solar facilities to protect land and security. They've only got 16,267 signatures. They need to get 100,000, which is a big ask, and one's got to do it. Government recognises that solar projects impact on local areas. Our planning system considers these against the need to secure clean energy future and protect most of our productive agricultural land. So that's what they're looking. I'll leave all the links in the description. I personally don't think that petitions make the blind bit of difference, but that's just my opinion. You may think differently and think it's important that you engage with this tyrannical government who really and truly don't care what you think. They're going to do what they want to do anyway, because they are a dead entity corporation being run by Luciferian Satanists, and we know what. They're being lent on by the WEF, the WHO, and they are being lent on by other nefarious things. If you think that any of these people are there to help you or look after you, then please think again. They're not. They are the same people that orchestrated a certain medical intervention filled with all sorts of poisons and things that were not good for the human population, and remember, did a massive propaganda on you to take those medications, so-called medications, and now we're seeing people dropping dead left, right and centre all over the place, or being injured or maimed or having their lives certainly drastically changed round, not for the better. Thank you very much to the so-called government. All of this nonsense has got to stop. It will stop. We are generating a new earth. These people, these Luciferians, Satanists, Freemasons, they're on the run. They are on the run because people are slowly and much quicker now becoming aware of the great harms, and they're panicking and they're doing all these things. We will reverse all of this and get rid of all these solar panel farms and things, get them off the farmland. We will put people back on the land, and we will start having a wholesome and natural life. But in the meantime, in the short term, we do have to do something about this. I'll leave the links in the description, and incidentally, I will be going over in the early weeks of June to go and have a look at this proposed site and talk to a local farmer and do a report about this, but not until early June. But in the meantime, do check it all out. This is not just this one site. These are going on up and down the country, all over the place. It's just another excuse to cover up farmland, which should be used for farming. Meanwhile, they're trying to decimate all farming by making the clouds appear and give us rough weather. Just because we've had a couple of days sunshine, don't think that is enough to rescue the farming in this country. We need to get rid of all of this geoengineering, this climate change crap, the belief that it's warming up and that CO2 is bad. That is all bonkers. It's a lie, and it's being perpetrated to you by a tyrannical bunch of people who think they ought to have the planet to themselves, and you lot are not worthy. We've got to do something about this. This is a silent war, and we are fighting back.